Everything in life has a dual nature, material and spiritual. The material aspect of everything is easy to grasp, easy to understand, easy to palpate, touch, smell, hear. That's the easy part. To look at and find its spiritual aspect is difficult. Not the reason it's difficult is not because it's not there. It's always there. It has always been there. But because of our mind and the senses are so used to the material aspect of everything, every person, every object, every situation, because that's all we know. We have never picked into the spiritual zone that is within ourselves. And that's why we measure everything from its materialistic angle. How a person is tall or short, how a person is beautiful or ugly, how a person is handsome. All those have become part of us, and that's the only life we know. And of course, along with that comes the rat race. We run after the things we like, we run away from the things that we dislike. The thing that we like eventually becomes the thing that we dislike when it starts creating problems in our life, or it loses its charm that it used to bring before. First paycheck is very exciting, but after 400, 500 paychecks, it just becomes a routine thing. So it lost its charm. Nothing for nothing, the material things keeps us occupied all the time. Once the money comes, then comes all the efforts that you have to do to manage it, to hide it from others, make sure nobody takes it away. Even if we donate, that becomes a big project. Where should we donate? Whether the guy is going to use it for right reason or not. All these are continuously present in our mind and keeps our mind occupied. And that is the reason we never see the spiritual aspect of anything. Right from the morning we wake up, we manage the material things. Till we go to bed at night, we still are thinking about the material things. Even our dreams consist of material things, either the money, the sex, drugs, alcohol, friends, day-to-day situations continuously keeps us occupied. But thank God for a deep sleep state where even the dreams disappear, as defined by the brainwave test, the EEG. There is a time where we lose even the dreams and we go into the deep sleep state. That's where no thoughts, no dreams are present, and that's the only rest that we get. So, because we keep on staying occupied with material things, our whole format has become material. Even the things which are supposed to be non material, like love, friendship, karuna, giving, All these things have become material also because that's all we know. It's like if you put a kindergarten student in a convention where the poetries are recited, he's gonna stick to his ABCD. That's all he knows. He doesn't know the joy of the poems or the poetry. For that joy, the mind has to be evolved to that level. And that's where the meditation comes in. We all have material angle when we are born and when we leave and sometimes till we die. This material angle just does not leave us. And that's the reason we can never understand our spiritual existence that is beyond the words, beyond the thoughts, beyond the beliefs, something that is perpetually present. We relate ourselves to the body. Even though body keeps on changing every second, we identify us as the body. Mind keeps on changing every minute, yet we identify ourselves with the ideas, the thoughts, the beliefs, and we believe that that's ours. One strong argument comes and all your beliefs disappear. Being a Hindu, Muslims are nothing but ideas which have been continuously bombarded into our head by the people around us. Going to the temples, going to the mosques, all these parts of the society are nothing but continuous hammerings of telling you that you are this, you are this, you are this. And yet, the same child who grows up in Hindu family, if he was put in a Christian family, he would grow up to be called a Christian. What happened to the Hindu that he thought he was? So all our beliefs and ideas are imported from outside. That's our ignorance. We never want to know who we really are. And that's where the meditation comes in. When we start observing the mind and the body, that just the process of observation itself starts the separation, because mind is material, thoughts are material, ideas are material, and of course outside is material. But when you can observe the mind, the thoughts, the ideas, and the beliefs without changing them, just be an observer. Let them come and let them go. At some point, you start thinking or realizing, because thinking actually is part of the mind, you start realizing that that observation process has created a distance between your thoughts and something else that is there, which is empty, has no shape, no size, no color, and yet it has a capacity to observe the thoughts. And your separation has started, and your journey into spirituality has begun. And then you realize that you are that. You are not the mind and you are not the body, because you can observe them. You don't call yourself a car just because you are sitting in a car, because you know deep down that you and the car are separate. And time to time, you step out of the car also to prove that. So meditation is a process to make you realize that you are the soul, you are the spirit in the material body and in the material mind. And that's where the fun begins, because all the life's treasures, all the life's secrets are hidden in the spiritual zone. They are not in the material zone. Because you did not know anything other than material, you were looking for pleasures in the material world, running after objects of pleasures. But they were very elusive. Once you get them, they lose their charm or they create problems for you. Either too much alcohol, too much drugs, too much sex, too much money. All this creates nothing but anxiety, stress, and suffering. And not counting even the diseases, diabetes, cholesterol, heart attacks, are continuous occupations into the change of lifestyle that keeps you occupied. Visits to the doctors, taking the medications, getting the blood work done, always worrying what's going to happen next. This is the state of the mind which only knows the material aspect of life. In the spiritual zone, there is no attachment to the food. There is no attachment to the alcohol, drugs, sex, people. You are an observer of the whole material samsara that's in front of you. And at the spiritual zone, the real fun begins because once you stop or once you give up your attachment because you realize the futility of running after the things in the material world which are going to disappear anyway. Either they're going to lose their charm or somebody's going to take it away. If life does not take it away, death will take it away. Either way, whatever you call it yours is never going to be yours. But this is the time to know your spiritual zone and find out that you are that soul, which is infinite, permanent, and it's immortal. So with a gradual process, gradual handling of the mind, not fighting with the mind, with the gradual persuasion, you just observe the mind, the thoughts, the beliefs at a distance, and you create that distance. And then your language changes. That any relationship that so far had only material touch, because that's all we knew. This is how much I did for you. What did you do for me? That kind of language we always had. I did so much for you, and this is what you did for me. All those becomes commercial exchanges, whether it happens at the money level, at the sex level, or at the thoughts level. Either way, it's the language of matter. But when you reach your infinite zone at that level, because you are infinite, you have infinite capacity to love someone. You give something like love, feeling, karuna, but you don't want anything in return. Now, people who have a material mind, they will never be able to understand this because they always have lived in the life of commerce, where giving and taking is an everyday event. Every second we think of giving and receiving. But in the infinite space, there is only giving because there is so much. There is so much on your lap that no matter how much you distribute, it will never get empty. That kind of feeling, that kind of satisfaction, that kind of enjoyment you will have of owning the whole universe to yourself. These are the treasures the life has been hiding from us, only because we keep us occupied in the material world. Once in a while, the separation has to start with the internal realization that what we have been running after has not been enough to give us perpetual joy, perpetual happiness. We are continuously looking for new objects, people, or situation to give us the pleasure. But in the spiritual zone, because it's perpetual, your joy is permanent and perpetual and infinite. So let's all strive for that. Go on the path of meditation and find that kingdom of heaven that's within you.